Today we're going to go on kayaking in a canal right next to the Miccosukee Indian Village. But first, just a couple of things along the way that I want to show you. Let's go. This memorial is for ValueJet, Flight 592 from Miami. In 1996, this airline company was transporting oxygen canisters considered hazardous materials. On takeoff, one of them activated and started a fire in the cargo hold. A plane's cargo hold is designed so if a fire starts, the oxygen is used up and the fire is extinguished. But in this case, the oxygen containers produce oxygen, flaming the fires. The plane crashed in the Everglades going over 500 miles an hour. 110 people perished. There were no survivors. In life, there will be certain things that will live in your memory forever, like 9/11. For me, this accident was one of them. So many years have passed, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. This is the other place that I wanted to show you. It's a Miccosukee Indian village in the middle of the Everglades. I wanted to go inside to show you that they no longer live in chickees, palm thatch huts, but that they live in modern houses with cars and all the modern amenities. Unfortunately, I was thrown out and was not able to take any pictures. But don't worry, I have been thrown out of bigger villages than this one. There has been Native Americans living in Florida for the last 12,000 years. Ponce de Leon discovered Florida in the early 1500s. At that time, there were an estimated 100,000 Indians living in Florida. But by the 1800s, they were all extinct. Most of them died from the diseases that the Europeans brought over from Europe. The word Seminole has a meaning of runaway or wild people, most likely given to them by the Spanish. They were mostly Creek Indians from Georgia and Alabama. At this time, there was also what they called Black Seminole. They were runaway slaves that came to Florida and adopted the Seminole way of life. The word Miccosukee is one of the original languages that the Seminoles spoke. There is no difference between the Seminole and the Miccosukee. The only difference is political. By the early 1800s, there were about 5,000 Seminoles living in Florida. At this time, Florida became part of the United States. The U.S. wanted to take the Seminoles out of Florida and put them in reservations. This resulted in three Seminole Wars where several thousand people died. By the early 1900s, there was still an estimated 300 Seminoles hiding out in the Everglades. The U.S. stopped trying to capture them and they settled down into a peaceful life of hunter-gatherers. But when the canals were built to drain out the Everglades, their way of life was destroyed. With no water, the plants they depended on died, and they were not able to use their canoes to go fishing and hunting. Their population started to decline. They were on their way to becoming extinct. Fortunately for them, Flagger and his iron horse came to the rescue. When the trains came to Miami, it brought a lot of tourists, and these tourists wanted to see live Indians. So the Seminoles were exploited. If you gave them a few dollars and some firewater, they were happy. But at least they were no longer in their way to becoming extinct. Now they had some value. The Seminole of the early 1900s had no concept of the European way of life, no idea in business, how to use money, or even land ownership. For the Seminole, it was strange to say, "This is my land, you can't come in." They thought that the land was the land, it belonged to everybody and nobody. The Tamiami Trail was the first road across the Everglades, from the east coast to the west coast. When the trail was finished, the Seminoles decided to put their villages on that trail. The Miccosukee village is still located on the old Tamiami Trail. The Seminoles were surviving by catering to the tourist trade, but things started to change by the opening of the first high-stake bingo parlor in the late 1970s. In 2007, they bought the Hard Rock Casino. This produced a great deal of income for the tribe. The Seminoles do get grants from the federal government to help them run their villages. They don't have to pay property tax on their reservation land. Every Seminole gets north of $120,000 a year in dividend from the casinos and other investments. They do have to pay taxes on any dividend that they receive. Today, they get around 90% of the income from the casinos, but they are trying to diversify into cattle, golf courses, and other businesses. This canal is a beautiful place, filled with natural beauty and abundant wildlife. And with that being said, enjoy the video. If you liked the video, a thumbs up will be greatly appreciated. Live long and cherish every minute of it.